What's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy, JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kevin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this show the best that it can be. Now, man, this picture right here is taking me back in time, man. I'm talking about this was a magic moment. This was like the creme de la creme right here. And I'm talking about 1994 NBA playoffs, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Chicago Bulls, three-time defending champion, and the New York Knicks, who was trying to advance to their first finals in the Patrick Ewing era, which they would eventually do that season. But man, I gotta tell you, this to me, and I've seen a lot of great dunks in the playoffs. I've seen a lot of great dunks, man. When Kevin Johnson caught Akeem Olajuwon in 1994, he caught him in 94. When Jordan caught Ewing in 91, when Jordan caught Dikembe Mutombo in 97, when Dr. J caught Bird and caught Kareem in 1980 and 1982, respectfully. I've seen a lot of great dunks, man. Shaq, with the Shaq attacks. Kobe catching bodies. T-Mac when he caught Sean Bradley. I believe that was the 2005 playoff when T-Mac was playing for the Houston Rockets. And Sean Bradley was playing for the Dallas Mavericks. I saw Reggie Miller catch a body. I believe that was the 2000 playoffs when the Indiana Pacers went up against the, at the time, the New Jersey Nets. I've seen a lot of great dunks, man. But this right here, this the creme de la creme. And what stands out about this dunk, first of all, that series was so intense because the New York Knicks was up 3-2, and again, Chicago was trying to four-peat. They were trying to win a fourth straight championship. And this was the first year without Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen, who had a tremendous regular season, was trying to do what they said he couldn't do. And he gave a valiant effort. The team gave a valiant effort that year. But they got the steal, and they broke out in transition. And Pete Myers was involved in the play. And Scottie Pippen was filling the left lane, going full court. And Patrick Ewing was running back on defense, right? And when Myers kicked the ball to Scottie, when Scottie first went up, I thought he was going to finger roll. It looked like he was going to try to finger roll over Ewing. Ewing is 7 feet tall, about 245 pounds, right? Scottie Pippen 6'7", about 220. And so you're not even thinking about him possibly trying to dunk on him. So when Pippen first went up, he had his hand under the ball. So instinctively, you're thinking, oh, man, he's finna try to finger roll him. But then he turned over on the ball, and the next thing you know, he rolls over the top of Ewing, and he rammed over the top of him. And I remember I yelled out loud and screamed and jumped out of my seat. And I just sat there, man. And I remember Hubie Brown said, Hubie Brown called the game. He said, and that's what you call an elevation. He said, that's an elevation. Oh my. That was the initial response, man. And I screamed out loud. I said, oh, Pippen dunked on Ewing. I didn't know Scottie had that in him. And I've seen him dunk. Man, he's delivered some great dunks during his career. You know what I'm saying? Like, his dunking style reminded me a lot of Dr. J's dunking style. And when he dunked on Ewing, man, and Ewing was so stunned by it, man, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. The crowd couldn't believe it. The announcers couldn't believe it. The fans tuning in watching the game couldn't believe it. I was in awe, man. So, see, this is the thing, man. Like, Michael Jordan, consistency-wise, when you look at his resume, of all the players, man, that's in this so-called GOAT conversation, because we didn't start using the acronym GOAT until recently. You know, he was just, when he retired, he was viewed as the greatest player of all time. You know, there wasn't no such thing as being called a GOAT, per se. But if someone does something that stands out, it stands out. And when I think about who had the greatest playoff dunk of all time, my mind always gravitates to this moment here. That was a hell of a dunk. That was like all time. And that was such a momentum shift in that game. The Bulls would run away, you know, and win Game 6 and force a Game 7 in New York. And of course, New York prevailed and they won. I believe they won by the score 87-77. And, you know, the Knicks went on to the finals, played the Houston Rockets, and they lost in 7 games. And really, I thought the Knicks were the better team and they should have won. But nonetheless, Hakeem Olajuwon delivered, man. He won the championship. He won the first championship in his career. Matter of fact, the first championship in the history of the Houston Rocket franchise. And then they would go back-to-back the next year in 1995, beating the Orlando Magic. But, man, this dunk right here, man, Scottie Pippen, man, he laid down the law. He laid down the law, man. And, you know, that competitive zeal. And, you know, it's almost like, man, you know, for that brief moment, it's kind of like Scottie Pippen saying, man, I'm the leader of the team. That's the way it came across at that moment. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for that call by Hugh Hollins in Game 5 of this series here, Bulls would have went back to Chicago up 3-2 rather than being down 3-2. And I believe the Bulls would have upset the Knicks and won that series. I believe that. And I was rooting for the Knicks, you know, but, you know, the Bulls showed championship resolve, man. It just, they was missing number 23. Ultimately, they was missing number 23. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Scottie Pippen delivered what I believe was the greatest dunk in the history of the NBA playoffs. I really believe that, man. You know, that was an unforgettable moment, man. And considering that he did that, you know, without Michael Jordan on the team, man, it's just so resounding, you know, that he was able to deliver such an amazing dunk over the best center in the Eastern Conference, in Patrick Ewing, you know, because Shaq was in his second year, so you still had to kind of say that, you know, Patrick Ewing was the beast of the East when it came to centers, you know what I'm saying? But Scottie Pippen, man, you know, number 33, Pip, you know what I'm saying? That's when you start, hey, when he hit that dunk right there, that's when you start calling him Pip. You know, you go down in NBA lore when you deliver a dunk like that. And that was an all-time dunk to me. And like I said, it's been a lot of great dunks in the playoffs, man. A lot of great dunks by a lot of great dunkers, man. Dominique caught a lot of bodies too. You know what I'm saying? He caught a lot of bodies too. But this dunk right here, man, I believe was the greatest I've ever seen in postseason play. So I just want to give a shout out to Scottie Pippen on that one, man. You know, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that as long as I, you know, fan of the NBA and continue watching. So until next time, this is JB for BTB, Behind the Bench.